morning. Phillip Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Coming to you all again about male-female jealousy, man. It's a real thing. Male and female jealousy. Yes, men get jealous too and take on what I believe to be classified as feminine ways of being jealous of another person being successful, having more, player hating, if you will. You know, they have other names that, you know, bring it down to the fact that people are jealous of you. And it always starts very close before it spreads out. It generally starts within the members of your own family. They can be fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, if you're a male, husbands of your family members, which would be, I don't know how you do it, in-laws, if you will. It can be a host of people within your immediate circle. And we talked about this before, that, you know, it can extend to female jealousy too as well. You can have sisters be jealous of you, success, daddy or mommy loves me more, and therefore what I'm doing is doing more sabotaging. I'm looking for ways that when there is a disagreement naturally between father and son, that I'm going to position myself to be on the side of being in their good graces. So that way I can avoid getting on their bad side, so we can keep the problem over there. That happens. And sometimes what's supposed to be the leader of a family, a father, is not knowing they're being manipulated in that way, because they also themselves suffer from a jealousy as well.
Scene. Just say something witty and exit on the laugh. So jealous!
And it can happen. You can have a father jealous of a son. And that's because the father either did not do things, or they did not live their life in whatever ways they missed opportunities, or didn't have some opportunities that their children, son and or daughter, could have, and they're taking advantage of. Opportunities that the person thought was for them. The one thing my father always taught me when I was younger is that titles do not mean anything. You still have to look at the person. It might be your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, but you still must realize that is still a person at first. Even for my children, my daughter was born first. So she had a time where she existed, and Jesus, this person is driving fast and dangerous. Where she existed without a brother. She was the only child for a short while. And again, people have their own selfish motives, and sometimes they're self-serving motives too as well. With female jealousy, even your girlfriend could be jealous of you because other women are attentive to you or attracted to you. So she may mate guard you. Same thing men do with women, but I think that's more natural to the male perspective, because in even all animals in nature, they tend to guard their females away from other males. But now, with the freedom of women, and I don't mean that in any kind of way other than just stating the term, that women are more free to choose and they're allowed to live lives without scrutiny, shame, or blame. They're free to be who they are, or want to be, or are trying to be. That mate guarding is looked at as a negative thing, where you are wanting to protect your woman against another male that's looking to her with intent to steal her away from you. You know, that would be mate guarding, because that's what, in the animal kingdom, that's our biological nature. When you see another lion trying to mate with other lion members of the female pride, the other lion goes on the attack, right? And that typically happens with birds. It happens with, Jesus, I wish this guy would drive a little faster. That happens with birds. That happens with All it, I mean, where else, where doesn't it happen? In the overwhelming majority in the animal kingdom, and that means simply that some of these things, if not most of them, may be somewhere embedded in our biological setup that we make guard intentionally. And there is obviously an extreme that this goes to, where people take it too far and, you know, they commit heinous acts. That's obviously the far extent of it. And this does not just happen on the male side. It's happened to many women's side, on the women's side too, where women have set men up for that. I believe, what's the guy's name? Santana was an actor back in the day, African-American guy, or mixed, I don't know, he's African-American, but he used to be on TV shows and the 90s sitcoms. Attractive guy. And apparently he was set up by a girl, but very attractive black man. Not, you know, just attractive by the general stating terms, not attractive, pause. Any which way. And again, a woman can see you shining and thriving, moving up in the world, and some people can be, or female or male, can be economically jealous of you. When I say that, I mean that people can be jealous of you, whether they be male, female, siblings, that you are moving in an economic way beyond their capacity. You know, men might experience this with their wives, where you're getting a job, you're dating a girl, you're successful, and because she fears losing you, instead of competing for you and raising up her level of play, she will do things to sabotage you. She may even argue with you and get you riled up to the point where you're at risk of losing it all and getting you into a DV case. Look that up if you don't know what I mean by that. And for men too, they could see a woman who's very attractive and has opportunities to grow, maybe even model. She has opportunities that her looks afford her, and a man can hold her back by being a jealous boyfriend or husband. Now I always want to preface that with you got to take that with a little grain of salt, man, because women like to use that often, and I'm only talking about my life, where you're jealous for all things, even when you know financially it's a bad decision for them. It can't be all of that. When it's not based on emotion and it's based on data, looking at that, you're talking about a business opportunity and you're keenly aware that a woman will make the mistake and lose money and you don't support it, you're not a jealous guy or jealous of success. Sometimes people have to understand that they can be exploited. People are always trying to be exploited. In the words of Fabulous, the rapper, he says, if you can't be used, maybe you're useless. And I agree with that statement. But again, some people can be exploited, and you see that all the time in the Hollywood saga of all these child actors and people who were stars that were used up. They have these SA cases going up. We've had, what's his name, Weinstein, locked up. So people were exploited and taken advantage of because of their looks and their hunger for opportunity. And that might be something you are trying to protect or guard your mate from, and they just don't see it. So what do? You got to let them go. You got to let them go. You have to let them go. Now this, I mean, do you not see us over here merging in, you dumb? I'm going to curse on this and I'm going to stop. I'm merging into, I'm coming on, we're in we're coming off an exit. And this person's in the right lane. I'm gonna tell you something about traffic, okay? I'm just gonna turn this over here. When you're in this right lane, I know you can't see part of it, but this right lane over here, and there is people merging on, you're supposed to get over to this left lane here and allow, that's the courtesy you're supposed to be giving drivers. But I look over and the woman's on her damn phone. She's on her phone, and I don't understand. We got the Bluetooths for the phones, and she's still on her hand holding the phone here and can't talk into a damn car. Riddle me this. And it's not just me, it's another car merging ahead of us. She has increased her speed onto the right side of an oncoming ramp. Instead of getting over, she had tons of room to get over. But she's too busy on her goddamn phone. Pardon me. Okay. to a stop now. Everything's breaking. So where was I? And you have to be acutely aware of people who are jealous. I made the mistake of someone close to me telling me that a person that I revere was jealous of me. That was their assessment. Never mind. I refuse to believe it. And people do things and let you know that they are looking to harm you. And what you do is you forgive them because of that title. They intentionally do something purposely to harm you. It's not intentional like, hey, I stepped on your foot because I didn't see you and I was backing up from a ladder and you're down there holding it. It's not I dropped something and it just so happened to hit you or roll off or ricochet. You know, an actual act of nature or God. This is someone looking to harm you and teach you a lesson. And I passed it up because the title. And it's from a male too. You would think that that wouldn't be the case. You would think men around you want to see you do better than them so they can be proud of you, and that's not the case. And I let that person back in, forgave them. And it's worse when people try to do something to harm your family and insult your children. They're not hurting you. They haven't realized that now the people around you are being affected by their activity. And it can become now generationally inherited if you let that person treat you that way and your children see you being treated that way. Which means that if you allow it as a leader, it is what you're saying to everyone else and signaling can be allowed. The problem is when you stand up and say no more, then people come and go back the other way. You're being too cruel. But again, remember my other video, a tough decision requires a strong will. It does. And this means even if your son is a thief and steals in your house, a tough decision requires a strong will. You can let your brother in the house and he could be a drug addict. You can be trying to help him get on his feet, and you go to work and you find your TV's missing. You find your wife's jewelry missing. You find your kid's Xbox are gone, controllers, your daughter's underwear. Well, maybe not your daughter's underwear, but anything. You are the fool for letting that person in and letting them have access to your valuables because it's your brother or your sister or your son or your nephew or your daddy. A thief is a thief no matter who they are to you, no matter who you believe them to be. But again, you're acting under the premise of their title to you, not where they are to them. Again, if they do not value themselves, then there is nothing you can do greater than to move their opinion past where they won't go. You are trying to move them away from where they have planted themselves in bad soil. And only they can uproot their bad behavior. Only they can uproot themselves because it is called self-esteem. Self-confidence. The only problem with that is that we're growing up in a world where people call you cocky when you're confident. You got to be somewhat, in this gauge of you could be successful but not too successful. You could drive a Benz but not the best one. You could have a nice house but not the biggest. You can be wealthy but just not uber rich. You could have a nice anything but not too much. You can be good but don't gloat. It's like that thing in Devil's Advocate, right? What did he say? Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. And while you're jumping around trying to satisfy this person who moves the needle a little bit to the left, moves the needle a little bit to the right, you can't even define who you are, and you lose yourself, which is why you shouldn't care what they think about you. I find often that people admire the confidence that I show. They say a little cocky, which is, that's it. Everyone defines that, but that little bit, it might be a little bit more or a little bit less depending on who the person is. It depends on their confidence in themselves. But again, I see people in my past that I've helped because I wasn't jealous that they had something that I did not. So without getting onto that, let's move to the next phase. What do you got to do with these people? Well, first of all, the first thing you do with people like that is you cut them off. You don't have to be confrontational. You just cut them off. That's it. You just stop messing with them. Stop communicating with them. If they're your children, you've got to have a hard conversation about, hey, look, I'm going to give you one time to understand the rules of engagement. I'm going to explain this to you one time, that this can't happen. And if a person tries to shift anything to deviate away from being pinned down and submit and say they understand, you got to let them go. Now, that's the easy part. The hard part is maintaining letting go. Because a lot of people won't do that. They won't let it go. They will let it go, and they'll kind of talk. They'll have a boyfriend that abuses them, and then they'll go back because one night they felt lonely. They'll have a guy that beats on them, and they'll go back to him, in this one moment because they missed him. He said he was going to change, and you heard every other woman tell you about that. We got enough E-movies and HGTV movies and Lifetime movies to show you this woman don't make it out in the end. We've got it in every race. We got it in every culture, every example to show you that this doesn't end well. You got guys in the hood all around there trying to come up like Big L, and rappers have died because someone else was jealous that they were going to pop off, and someone said it should be me. And instead of going back home and refining my skills, instead of even going to that person and learning and being mentored, we will always destroy others for what we think is to save ourselves. No one can get ahead of me. Everyone must stay beneath me. No one can grow except me. Until I grow, no other shall sprout. That's the gospel of losers. And when you see that, you got to let them go. The other thing is you got to change up a new set of friends, people who are optimistic around you, people who see life in the way that you do, in the direction that you're going. It's not just people that can sit around and agree with you. That's a cult. We're talking about be around people who see the same vision that you do. They see prosperity. They see progress. They see productivity. All these P's, right? No wonder my name's Phillip. They understand what that's like. They taste and thirst for those things. Those 3 P's there, they also are moving in that direction. They can't just want it, because you got a whole lot of people in the hood who wish for progress, productivity, and prosperity. Of course, everybody looks for that. That's why they vote for it. But they're not moving in that direction. So you need people who are moving in that direction. They can't just wish or want or vote for it to come to them. You got to see people who understand pain and suffering and share it, because in order for them to have pain and suffering, they need to be able to progress. They're looking for growth. Not people who are complaining about it. When you share pain and suffering because you're progressing, people sit down and listen because they want to hear the work you're doing to get to the next level. I got a buddy of mine, a brother of mine, a dear friend, that guy that can call me at 3 a.m. and say, I need you. Not like that, but I need you to help. I need help, and I'll come. It was funny because he's driving, he's going somewhere, and I think he missed his exit. And I'm actually just enjoying chilling with him because we're headed to the gun range, right? And we're about 2-3 miles away past the exit now. And he's like, man, I think I missed my exit. He's like, dude, did you see the exit? I said, yeah, like three exits ago. I saw it. Because I'm always observant, situational awareness, even when I'm with a friend or a brother. Not like brother, yo brother. I'm talking about like a person I consider my brother. And I said, man, I'm just riding with you, man. I'm just enjoying the ride, man. I'm chilling with my brother. We gonna go to the gun range. I'm not pressed for time. I'm just enjoying the ride. You said, well, you got to make 2 stops. I'm riding with you. I said, okay. And we started laughing because I'm like, yeah, it was 3X. He's like, why don't you say something? I was like, I'm enjoying the ride, bro. We sitting here laughing, telling stories, and, you know, and sharing fellowship. Because remember, when you separate yourself and you cut these people off and you surround yourself, you separate and then surround. You surround yourself with people who are progressing like you. Just like leadership requires good followership, leader also requires good fellowship. You got to be around people who are going to be in a fellowship with you. People you can share your pain with, people you can share your progress with, and people you can share your prosperity with. When I say that, he and I, we once a month or twice a month, we go out gun range and we go eat. And when we eat, I pay for it because, again, I'm sharing in my prosperity. We share in the pain of what we go through, him going through a divorce, me in a marriage. Thank you for letting me get over, because, you know, people are flying through everywhere. Let me get over again. And we share in our progress. How's the business going? He'll ask me that. Ask me how the business is going. How's this going? And we share in those details. I ask about life. How's life going for him? And we share in those things, and we take time and eat. We might be there for 40 minutes. Have only eaten for 20, but we're sharing in that. So much that the people know that we're patrons of that restaurant. Shout out to Mission Barbecue. And again, we're not jealous of each other. He helps me to understand the blessings I have of having a family, an intact family, a supportive wife, you know, for the most part. For being a leader and having people who are followers in my family because of my leadership. And him seeing me as a black man with a family. And I keep him around because he exhibits those traits of someone that I can share progress, productivity, and prosperity with. And then I surround myself with other fellowship, like you see my interview with Josh Baez. You see me talk about Coach Greg Adam. You see me with Avon Coburn. You see me with Don Coombs and a host of others that are coming. And that's just who you see online. That is not my real world contacts at all. I've got about 7 doctors, nephrologists that are in my phone that I can call directly and pick up when I call. You need progressive people around. I've got people that I see that are like, hey, I saw your video. I actually got a response from one of the people. His wife watches me and she says, man, I'm so proud of you being a black man with positivity. She said, I feel like I know you and I don't even know you. Because of the videos, the positivity, and thank you, Mrs. Davis. She knows who she is. Thank you for that. If you're watching this video and you've gotten that far, your words meant something to me. And it meant more to me because I'm a father of 3 and my children do not know the inspiration that I give to people out in the world, even on this East Coast when I started this journey of Ancestry lands on the West Coast. So again, you've got to have people around you that can be, you got to build that network. Net worth is something that is an eventuality and it fluctuates. Your net worth will always fluctuate. You look at the Forbes list, Jay-Z goes up to the top. The billionaires are always changing because new ones are coming and there's a competition over who's a billionaire, who's the tops. So you never should look at that because it fluctuates. Your income will fluctuate. But what you need is people around you in a circle that you can do business with, you can exchange with, you can barter services for, and you can build a strong community for yourself that is helpful to others. And again, you will be able to distance yourself away from male or female jealousy. You got to get to the point where the group ostracizes the individuals that are jealous, both male and female, where they push them out because they don't like their jealousy for you. That's the point you got to get to. You got to get to the point where you're in a group and you and all other people turn and say, man, I don't like that guy. And you push them out. which means you may have to go it alone. You might have to go it alone for a while until you get there. And when you find that one, you do well with that one. You treat them right. You let them know, hey, these are my intentions. I'm looking to build a network, this, and this. Can you come to the table with value, resources, productivity, progress? I'm not asking you to give me anything. What I'm asking you to do is sit at this table and be a person that not only has something to say, but knows when to say it. And when you do, you bring foot to ass to move it. Because everybody has a problem with someone cocky, but when that cocky person gets it done, people still go to them. People still look to them to get it done because they know who's not going to bullshit them. I'm going to land that plane there. Again, these are videos you can listen to. You can find that. You don't need to watch me at all. I do that because, you know, some people like looking at my face. They ain't seen a good looking man in a while. So, you know, it is what it is. But again, these videos are so you can listen. You should be doing the dishes. You should be doing everything productive in your day and listening to me. You don't have to watch me. This is not a watch me video. This is a listen to me. I'm planting seeds in your mind. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. Don't forget, in the description section in my video below is a link to my book, Getting Dollars from Dirty, Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, available on Amazon, and also a link to my website and other social media where you can find me and see me in all different platforms. I am everywhere. Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com, on all platforms, folks. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands. Remember, folks, you better build this mindset up, because again, you will either be owned as property or you're going to own property. Do not let your ignorance give way to you consenting to their control. Build your mind and build your wealth. Phil Davis, and I'm out. Peace.
Are you confused with today's real estate market? With high interest rates and overpriced housing, it can be hard to find something to own at the right price. Available on Amazon, Getting Dollars from Dirt by author Phillip Davis is a game-changing book that invites you to embark on a thrilling exploration of this often overlooked asset class. This book is your roadmap to unlocking the secrets of vacant land investment. Inside these pages, you will uncover the transformative power of vacant land as a wealth-building tool. Discover how to spot promising properties, assess their true value, and capitalize on market trends. From understanding zoning and permits to leveraging financing strategies, you will gain the knowledge and confidence to make savvy investment decisions. With each page you turn, you will gain a deeper understanding of the profound impact your investments can have on the world around you. Getting Dollars from Dirt is not just a guidebook, it's a call to action. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a curious novice, this book will empower you to tap into the immense potential of vacant land and embark on a journey toward financial freedom and a brighter future.